for him to prepare for what I'm going to bring to the table, and I'm just too sharp, too clean, punch way too hard, power in both hands.
I was streaming, I just shut the curtains because I was like nervous type stuff, but now it's like I embrace it because I always dreamed of this. That's why I don't never shy away from it. That's what I'm here to do. You know what I mean? To show out, so.
Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
In their heated face-to-face interview, Jake Paul speaks with unwavering confidence, declaring that his evolution as a boxer has led him to this very moment, and that he plans to defeat Gervonta Davis in devastating fashion. He insists his years in competition have shaped him for this challenge, and he's stepping in without a trace of doubt. Gervonta Davis answers with calm certainty, saying he carries the full package. His power, precision, and experience are what make him one of the most feared and respected fighters in boxing today.
Capable of, I know what I've learned in the past year with my new coaches, the shape I'm in, the power I possess, and I'm just in there.
Gervonta Davis holds every trait a top-tier boxer could ask for. He's got explosive power in both hands, razor-sharp timing that lets him strike at just the right instant, and footwork so precise it keeps him in charge of every exchange. His defense is airtight, and his instincts let him read opponents before they even move. With all these tools, Davis knows he's far more than just a power puncher. He truly believes he has everything it takes to thrive at the sport's highest level, and to keep proving he's one of the best fighters in the world.
Fight. His training is taking a toll, but the cure is just as bitter as what ails him.
I know I gotta do it. 5 minutes?
5 will be good enough for you.
They definitely went to the kids store and get
That water ain't cold. We know that.
I know, but
Get in the water, man. Just get in the water.
you can't sit on the edge.
Man, just get in there, man.
No, give me the towel.
The upcoming showdown between Jake Paul and Gervonta "Tank" Davis has the entire boxing world buzzing with debate. It's a battle built on pure contrast. One man brings size, weight, and raw physical strength. The other carries lightning speed, polished skill, experience, and knockout precision forged through years at the sport's peak. It feels like two worlds colliding inside one ring. Analysts have spent months pointing out Jake Paul's clear weight advantage, a factor that can't be ignored when measuring danger. A bigger frame means a sturdier chin, heavier hands, and more strength to impose. But size only matters if you know how to use it. Though Jake stands taller and heavier, Gervonta Davis owns nearly every other weapon that defines real boxing. His timing, movement, and explosive power weren't learned overnight. They were built through a lifetime of pure fighting.
I believe he spars people that are much heavier than him. And, man, that uppercut, damn.
Well, who do you got?
I would have to bet on Gervonta because for all the little things, all that, and the fact that he's not old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he makes up for the weight situation.
Okay, so this is the first time that Jake Paul's fighting an actual boxing champion, an active, young boxing champion. Everyone else he's fought was either way older or like, was it Tommy Fury, I think?
Yeah, he was a legitimate boxer. Yeah.
A legitimate boxer, but not a champion.
Right.
He's fighting a champion, although a very little champion compared to him.
Yes.
So this is sort of a, I don't know, man, like.
If it wasn't Gervonta Davis, and it was somebody else in that weight category.
It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. But Gervonta, I mean, technique-wise and heart-wise, that makes it interesting. Like, again, kudos goes to Jake Paul because it kind of worked its way up, even though the guy is so much smaller.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm happy that Jake is bringing excitement to the sport and so forth, but you just have these, like, people fighting bears and, you know, there might be a boxing match with a weapon involved of some sort. Like, people have sticks. Like, I feel it's just getting more and more ridiculous. And really, outside of Crawford Canelo, there's really very little excitement over pure boxing.
Experts point out that Jake has never stood across from someone with Davis's pedigree. Gervonta has faced world champions, unbeaten rising stars, and ruthless knockout punchers. He's conquered every kind of opponent the sport could throw at him, even those with longer reach than Jake. That's why so many believe Jake Paul has entered a test unlike anything he's ever known. Even Jake himself admits it. In interviews, he acknowledges that Davis operates on a higher level, one that demands total focus and major growth in his skills. That honesty shows he understands exactly what he's walking into, and that this time, he can't afford to treat the fight like any of the others before it.
My toughest fight, he's undefeated, highly skilled, most experienced fighter I've fought, top 5 pound for pound. So I have to have the best version of myself. I know how fast he is. I know how strong he is. I believe I'm stronger, more athletic, and that's my advantage going into the fight. But he pretty much has every other advantage. So I'm locked in, fully focused, feeling amazing already, and just going to put on a performance and have the biggest fight of 2025.
Last one, I've seen some people say, oh, Jake, the goal here is just to survive. Knowing you, that's not the case. You're not going in there just to get through 12 rounds with Tank Davis. I would imagine you're going in there to win this fight.
Oh, absolutely. Tank's going to be the one surviving. I'm going to, upset a lot of people. And again, they're going to have to say that there's some crazy excuse, fights are rigged. They can't use the steroid excuse because we have full-on random drug testing at any time. They could literally knock on my door right now. So they can't use that excuse. And obviously I'm suing people who say that the fights are rigged. Piers Morgan already had to retract his statement and kiss the ring. More lawsuits are coming for these people who are lying on my name because it's just simply not true. And we're willing to prove that in court. But I'm actually flattered that the only thing that people can chalk up these wins to is that the fights are rigged, because it's honestly the greatest compliment. But again, I'm going to knock this guy out and probably create one of the most viral knockouts.
Public reaction to this fight has been filled with both confusion and curiosity. Some fans insist it's not the matchup boxing truly needed right now. They argue the sport already has a deep roster of thrilling contenders worthy of facing Davis. Yet somehow, no one can turn away. The wave of entertainment that follows Jake Paul has built a spotlight too bright to ignore. Many observers say this event might not settle any serious competitive debates, but it will capture the world's attention. Long after the final bell rings, people will still be talking about the spectacle, the hype, and what it all means for boxing's future.
Junior was at cruiserweight. Chavez Jr. was a former world champion at middleweight himself, and that sort of made sense. And it was a good win for Jake Paul. He come out there and he beats an ex-world champion. He gets a little bit of credibility, and you go, right, now you're heading in the right direction. You're starting to be, okay, all right, former champions, former fighters, but at least they're boxers. They're not MMA stars, and whatnot. So, yeah, I think that was a move in the right direction. Gervonta Davis is just a little bit of a freak show for me.
Yeah, I agree, Spence. I mean, the size difference is a bit of an annoying one as well. But also as well, I hate when they put exhibition in it, because then you think how seriously they're really going to take it. I understand it because of the money involved, but realistically, if there can be a winner, Gervonta Davis should take him out, regardless of the size, pretty easily and pretty quickly.
I agree, mate. Totally agree. Gervonta Davis is an active fighter. Like I say, still a pound-for-pound star. Very heavy-handed as well. He should have the movement, forget the size, to be able to slip inside and take Jake Paul out. That's the reality of it. But, yeah, I just find it all very, very strange. Look, I thought an even stranger fight, to be honest, was Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. You look at that fight and go, who's going to sanction that? God forbid something happens to Jake. I think that what he's doing for the sport is brilliant in his own right. He's bringing new fans into the sport. He's doing excellent for women's boxing as well. You can't take that away from the kid, and he's been working hard as well, and he's improving. But going in against Anthony Joshua, a former 2-time world heavyweight champion and still an active fighter, that's a suicide mission for me. I think that Anthony Joshua, when you look at Francis Ngannou, and look at what AJ does to Francis Ngannou, who would win out of Anthony
Former UFC fighter and showman Mike Perry didn't hold back with his opinion. He noted that Davis hasn't given fans the same explosive knockouts recently that once defined his rise. Perry wasn't questioning Tank's power, he was pointing out how high the bar has been set. Fans now expect fireworks every time Tank enters the ring. That kind of reputation carries heavy pressure, especially when the opponent across from him is the bigger man, built to take more punishment and keep coming forward.
He's big, Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80.
Respected boxing strategist Teddy Atlas has shared his thoughts, offering high praise for Davis's all-around skill set. Atlas called Tank one of the most dangerous fighters in modern boxing for one clear reason: he does everything right. His accuracy is razor-sharp, his punches carry purpose, and his ability to adapt to any style sets him apart. That's something Jake Paul simply hasn't earned through experience yet. Atlas believes all the buzz about Jake's size advantage will fade the moment the bell rings. In his eyes, skill and experience always outweigh brute strength when the gap is this wide. Tank has faced every kind of opponent: pressure fighters, slick boxers, counter-punchers, and heavy sluggers, and he's figured them all out.
One guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else. They just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have the bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that. But I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air. Bang! And he hits him. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Cus D'Amato told me he loved Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right. Anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like that either. I mean, first of all, Mayweather was past his prime. He was already retired. He was older, everything, but he's still the great Mayweather. And Mayweather was fighting a guy, what was it, 50-pound difference, 60-pound difference, whatever it was. And that size made a difference. It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense. So, yeah. It's kind of like we've seen this already in that version of it, and we didn't really like it. I don't think I liked it that much.
Former opponent Rolly Romero also gave Davis his due, admitting that Tank has achieved more than most fighters ever will in a lifetime. Romero pointed out that Tank has already proven he can hurt bigger men and withstand stronger challengers. That's important because it reminds fans that moving up in weight isn't unfamiliar territory for him. He's already shown he can punch through size disadvantages and still dominate. Romero believes Tank remains one of the top fighters on the planet, fully capable of winning, no matter how many people choose to doubt him.
Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, or as an exhibition, we don't know if they throw at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think it impacts, will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were, to beat him or even, knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
You know, some people trying to give, that's fair, some people trying to give Tank a hard time. They're saying, he should have took a fight with Lamont Roach or Shakur Stevenson. But when you think about it, do you think this is business and look, he's getting a bag, or is there some validity to people saying that he ducked Roach?
I mean, there's still other options, It's bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all that stuff, right? At the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right?
Facts.
Right or wrong?
Facts.
So just do what's best for you.
Yeah, no, I mean, me personally, it don't matter what my opinion is, but I don't think get the money while you can get the money is my opinion. But you know, some fans are gonna have a hard
No,
time.
it's not
with
even
it.
about the money though, man. It's like regardless of anything, like yeah, get the money when you can get the money, but it's not even about the money. There's so much more to this sport in this world than just money, man. It's just do whatever you feel beneficial.
Talks about Davis's future have now become part of the larger story. Some insiders suggest that Tank might choose to walk away after this fight. The reasoning lies in a shift in what truly matters to him. He's already won world titles, packed arenas, and delivered countless unforgettable moments. Now, it seems financial security has taken center stage. Those close to him say he's looking for stability, peace, and time to simply be with his family. If that's true, this fight becomes something deeper than entertainment. It could be the final chapter. A moment where he steps away from the sport on his own terms, still standing proudly at the top.
And on what you making? Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing, for sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got you chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates? Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're going to come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is going to knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight him. What does that say about Tank? If you talk all that stuff, you better...
Analyst Max Kellerman agrees with the idea that Davis took the Jake Paul fight for more than just competition. He believes Tank wanted a matchup that could reward him enough to finally slow down his schedule. Facing a mainstream star like Jake Paul means massive revenue, no mandatory defenses, no endless line of challengers, just one huge fight with global attention and a life-changing payday. For Davis, it could be the perfect closing chapter to a career built on grit, pain, and perseverance. Experts all agree this fight will hinge on rhythm and control. If Jake can back Tank up and keep him against the ropes, he might find moments of success. But if Tank closes distance early and unleashes his speed, Jake will be dragged into panic, and panic is where fighters make their biggest mistakes.
Gervonta, who I personally think has been checked out for way longer than this last fight. I think he was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here. He did an interview with Dan Canobio about 18 months ago where he was like, yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like, I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing's been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.